All right, so this is the Mike Nelson Show. I'm here with the band Wenzdaze here at the KQBH Studios. How you guys doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, so before we start off today's interview, if you could just give your names and your instruments, that way the listeners on KQBH can know who they're listening to.
I'm Hayden. I play the bass, the electric bass.
All right.
I'm Ruben. I play guitar and I sing.
I'm Lucas, and I play drums and sing backup vocals.
All right, so you guys just, of course, came back from a big tour in Europe. How you guys feeling? How you guys feeling after the tour?
Tired.
Tired.
Really tired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tired, but it was good. It was a good tired. Jet lagged, personally.
Yeah.
But we'll get back rolling soon.
Yeah. But I'm glad to be home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And how many countries did you guys play at in Europe?
I think we played in 8 countries. 7 countries.
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
countries with 7 shows.
No.
Yeah.
No, we played in Belgium 3 times.
Oh, right. Never mind.
I don't know. I
Yes.
think about 9 shows.
9 shows. And how many days were you guys over there?
Just under 2 weeks, like 12 days.
12 days, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So that must have been like a whirlwind of just dates and tours. Touring around the Europe and just traveling. How many miles do you think you guys, like 1,000, 2,000 miles do you think you guys traveled?
It's kilometers
Yeah.
over there.
Pretty
Kilometers.
much. Kilometers.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And what did you guys like most about Europe, like in general?
The like bakeries and like all the fresh bread.
I liked the castles and like the churches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So you guys got a little chance to do some sightseeing, like before the shows
yeah.
and
We
stuff?
had like a couple days in between like doing shows or like before shows.
Most of it was through a car window though.
Most of it
Yeah.
through a car window, kind of in a hurry. You guys
Well-
didn't have much time, huh, to do anything, just kind of be playing and...
No, I mean, we had days like the whole day, every day we did something. So if we weren't playing a show at the end of the day, we would be sightseeing, walking around, shopping, looking at everything, and as much as we could for the day. And then, either at the end of it we had a show, or at the end of it we're just beat in a hotel room trying to sleep for the next day. So we had enough time to enjoy what we could.
What was the biggest show you guys had on the tour?
I think
I
it
think
was
It
the
was the last one.
The last one in Retro
Belgium.
Sur in Belgium. I don't know how many people. Do you want to say like 1,500 or?
Probably. It was a pretty big festival. It was like on the beach side.
It was right on the beach.
Yeah.
It was like a car show festival thing, and
Fucking Dead Kennedys are playing there in October.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
a huge festival.
yeah, it was cool. At the end of it, everybody jumped on stage like from the crowd, and
Wow.
we just had like a big party on stage. It was cool.
What time did you guys go on that last show, that last festival? You guys were one of the early bands? Or?
No, I think like
We were second to last.
Second
it was
to
like
last.
5 p.m.
5, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because over there, this festival's a little earlier, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
an early
Yeah.
festival.
It was a Sunday too, so
Yeah.
it was early. But
It was an early festival.
Everyone parties and then goes to work.
yeah,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
yeah,
How was the weather in Europe?
perfect.
It was perfect?
a lot better than
Perfect.
here.
Yeah.
Blue skies, very little clouds in a good way, and it just looked fake. It
Yeah, we
looked
landed
really
in
nice.
Germany.
Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, right? We
Yeah.
landed in Amsterdam, and we were coming from like 90-degree weather in LA, and we landed and it was like raining basically when we got there. So it was just a huge difference, and it was definitely a lot better than LA. I looked forward to getting out of the heat. So
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little humider, right, over there? Or not really?
From where we went, it was perfect.
It was perfect,
It was-
huh?
there was always a
Humid at all.
breeze. We could have a jacket on and still be like, okay, it wasn't freezing at all. It was just perfect.
You guys didn't go to Spain or Italy, right? Because over there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Even there- like the
No.
summers are pretty brutal over there during this
I
time of
think
year.
we beat the heat because like a week before we got to Belgium, it was the hottest day ever on record in Belgium.
Which would be like 104 over here or something like
Yeah.
that. Still hot as fuck.
What would be a story that the fans should know about, like a crazy road story or a story that from the tour that you guys want to talk about?
Oh.
From the tour?
Yeah, from the tour. Like I don't know, something how you guys. I don't know. You guys were telling me some stories before we got on the air.
Well,
about your baggage and stuff.
The craziest hectic story mentally and like just trying to be there on time was when we first took off. Our flights got delayed 30 minutes, and we only had we were supposed to fly from LAX to Chicago, and we had an hour in Chicago layover from Chicago straight to Belgium. And then our first flight got delayed 30 minutes, so that cut the overlay
layover.
time to 30 minutes, and there's no way you're going to get on that plane with your luggage and everything in 30 minutes. So our manager, Reb, he was on the phone telling him, like, we need to get there. so they switched our flight from John Wayne Airport, which is in Orange County, to San Francisco, and we had about an hour and a half in San Francisco layover. And from there we went straight to Amsterdam, which is 2.5 hours away from Belgium Drive, where we were supposed to be, and also the home of Wild Records Europe, the label that we're on. And so Tom, our tour manager, you could say, he had to drive 2.5 hours, pick us up from Amsterdam, and then drive another 2.5 hours back, and we barely made it. We only had literally 15 minutes before going on stage, and we were beat from the flight. It was like a 12, 13-hour flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were 12, 13-hour flight, and then another almost 3-hour drive, and then we had to be on stage in 15 minutes. And there were some things like I didn't have a strap because I was borrowing a guitar out there, and the action on this bass was super high, so the whole show was just a lot of tension.
And the kick drum was basically, it was on a drum riser, and it was like almost falling off like the whole show. They had to put like some ropes around the kick drum to make sure it didn't fall.
While he was playing.
Really?
So we're playing, trying to make our set time, and like the whole kit is falling apart. I remember seeing a cymbal stand like come loose, and then all the guys who were doing the sound, they were just like trying to figure out what to do because he hits pretty hard. So yeah, he hits hard as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess that would be like hectic story.
Yeah, I think it was like 25 hours before we slept.
And then
Wow.
it was kind of like a hectic story coming back too, because we flew from Belgium,
From Belgium
to Frankfurt.
to Frankfurt,
Germany.
and when we landed in Frankfurt,
Same thing.
it was delayed.
Yeah,
It was
we had
delayed,
half
but
an
we
hour.
got there. We had like 25 minutes to get to our next plane. We
We
ran
were all running.
We ran all the way. We got there with like 5 minutes left, and we like made it on basically like the last people on the plane. But then when we landed in L.A., all 5 of our check-in bags were not in L.A. with us.
Wow.
So we barely just got the bags yesterday in L.A.
Came
so.
back 3 days ago. We got them yesterday from Frankfurt, Germany. So
Yeah.
You guys gonna go pick up your bags at the airport or what?
They delivered.
Oh, they
it,
deliver 'em?
luckily.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
You
start.
don't want to go to LAX, you know.
hell no.
The start and the end was hectic, but everything in the middle was great.
Yeah.
That's cool. What was your favorite country in Europe? Like either to play at or just to
Oh.
visit? Like I don't know, in terms of the history, you know, that you guys learned about it, or you know, the scenery. What was your favorite country?
For me,
You guys can each, you know, probably personally, it's different
Yeah,
for everybody.
yeah.
But
yeah. For me, it was my first time going out there, so everything was still like a shock. Like, whoa, I'm actually here right now. But for the most part, most of the places we went, like London, Camden Town, and Dublin and stuff, it was kind of the same lifestyle. So like it was very city-like. Everybody's out in the streets. So the thing that made it different was when I saw the town center in Bruges. Is that where it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, the town center in Bruges. It's a bunch of streets going into the center. We were in one of them, obviously, and we got out. As soon as we get out, it's like nothing but old buildings, and we're just like
a palace.
like a palace and a
cathedral.
castle, cathedral, a church, a huge church with a nice clock tower and everything. And that honestly took my breath away. I was like, whoa. And another place that was my favorite overall, like the whole lifestyle, the transportation, the looks of everything, was Amsterdam. Because Amsterdam, every single thing is old. You know, in Dublin and in London, there's a lot of newer buildings and then the older buildings and stuff. But Amsterdam, everything is just like a time capsule, and it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dublin in Ireland just because that's where all my family is.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I love Irish accents.
Yeah.
Everything they say is just funny.
there's a lot of history in Ireland too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
in Dublin, of course.
I think we saw the smallest castle in Ireland.
And your family your uncle lives down the street from McGregor's pub, right?
Yeah, well, my cousin was a year ahead of McGregor in school.
Wow.
Like they went to the same school. And,
Yeah. So it's cool little history stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But what was
Yeah.
your favorite?
I think my favorite overall was probably London, just because I really enjoyed like all the stores and stuff there, and then I really like seeing like the Buckingham Palace and all that shit. That shit was really cool to me personally. But it was
double-decker bus.
the double-decker buses were cool. But it's close with like Ireland because all the castles to me, like the small castle and all that stuff, is like equally like as cool. But I think I just prefer London over it. But yeah.
All right, let's talk a little about the band. So, how did the name of the band start off? Who came up with the name, and why you guys call it Wenzdaze?
So we were originally named Wild Youth, and then there's some Irish pop band named Wild Youth, and so we were like, all right, we had to change it for legal reasons, and we were trying to find names, and we had a bunch of shitty names until we landed on Wenzdaze, and how Wenzdaze came to be. Lucas was sick at home, and it was just Hayden and I in Hayden's room, and we were tired of trying to come up with names. We were like, man, fuck it, we rehearse on Wednesdays, like, let's just call it Wenzdaze. And then he was like, yeah, but let's spell it really fucked up. Yeah. So then he was like, okay, and we start messing with the spelling. And at first it was ridiculous spelling, like W3, whatever, trying to make it super fucked up. And then I think it took 2 days to find the spelling. And
we just sounded it out.
Yeah, we sounded it out, and we were like, okay, Wenzdaze. And then another rush for the name was because we were on a compilation CD album that came out on Wild Records, and Reb was telling us, our manager, he was like, you have to have a name before we put you out. And it was like our first release, physical release, on a CD. And so that was another push. But yeah, I mean, we rehearse on Wednesdays, so that's why we're called Wenzdaze.
Yeah, just the dumbest shit possible.
Yeah. I thought it was like something like really like.
No.
I know, we should have made up a story.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys usually rehearse on Wednesdays then?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
What time do you guys usually rehearse? Like 12 o'clock or what?
Nah, like
Nah, they're
Like
still in
5:30.
school,
Oh, they're
so
still in school.
yeah, like 5:36,
Yeah.
and then till
however.
9.
till
yeah,
9.
Yeah.
And how did the band start out? How did you guys
Well-
meet up each other? How did you guys start playing together?
Me and Lucas were in another band that didn't last very long, and
Like a
but
couple months.
a couple months, and we only rehearsed like 3 times.
Yeah.
But we still wanted to. We were still rehearsing together, just like jamming. And then I think at the first show we did, me and Lucas's other band,
Yeah.
Ruben went up and sang a rockabilly song with one of the rockabilly bands, and I don't know what happened from there.
It was a open audition for Wild Records,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I came down, and it was also, the audition was also a showcase for the new band that was just happening with their old band, and I went up, I sang a song, and then like a month went by, and Reb, our manager, posted on Instagram like, hey, looking for members for a new punk band, Wild Youth. And so I was like, fuck it. So I hit him up, and he was like, yeah, come over, learn this song, I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges, and went over the next 3 days, and we've been together since. So I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges was the first song we learned and played together, and we still play it today. Very powerful.
And talk a little about Brainwash. The album, of course, came out last year. How was the process recording that? We were still kind of in COVID last year. How was all that time, to make your debut album last year?
It was interesting. I mean, we recorded everything in 2 days, but it was 2 separate sessions. Like, there was a lot of time in between. We recorded everything in 1 day, and then I guess it was in the process of being mixed, and we realized we could do it better. Oh wait, no.
So it was recorded once.
It was recorded once, and while we were recording, we were literally writing a new song, and we wanted to have that on the album. So we went back and recorded that new song, and while we were doing that, we went and recorded a few more. We re-recorded a few more songs because we felt like the energy was better then.
And
we
added a few songs.
When we
yeah.
initially recorded Ever, we were fresh into the band. Like, we didn't get to play live shows much. And, we started playing live shows, and we started having a live chemistry rather than like, okay, we're rehearsing. Yeah, we technically have the songs down, but there's no like emotion or feeling, so that's what we realized, like, hey, we could probably do it better with more energy and like more meaningful, and you can hear that through whatever you're listening through. And so yeah, we kept maybe like 3 of the original recordings, and then everything else we re-recorded to make it sound way more powerful, and we sound way more tighter. And what Hayden was saying, we did write an additional song that we were supposed to save, but we all really liked it, and we were like, you know what, it has to go now. And so we did, and that took a little extra time, but then we finally got to release it on a CD and digital, and
We're waiting on the vinyl.
waiting on the vinyl.
It's been in there since 2021, and I don't think it'll come out till like 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah,
High demand for vinyl right now. It sucks for all these, bands that are trying to come up and have cool physical releases, but
Just have like a shortage right now, right? For
there's a shortage
yeah.
of factories
Yeah.
and workers and just everything for vinyl. So I think Jack White made a video to Sony, I think, or just any companies that used to have their own record plants. He was like, oh, everybody get a record plant again. Everybody's trying to make them. Because even all the newer people like Olivia Rodrigo, Billie Eilish, all these newer people are getting back into vinyl. It's always been here, but, the mainstream is getting back into vinyl. And it's cool, but we'd love to have our own,
Yeah.
Shit.
And did you guys like being in the studio, or do you guys like playing live better?
I like playing live better. If it like a lot of weight is lifted off your shoulder, because it's
in the studio, there's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, when we know the song so much, I always say it's better we make a song, play it a lot live, so we get comfortable, and then record it. Because there's been maybe just a couple songs on the album that we have, and we do it way different live. We slow it down, or the guitar cuts off just to make it more engaging with the audience. But yeah, I mean, live and recording is always a different thing. I love recording because I'm into sound and all that, and I love live because I'm into raw energy and just feeding off of who's in front of you. You could be playing in front of 30 people, or you can be playing in front of our last show 1,500 people, and the energy, for me, I like to try to win the audience over, but also be our own thing and not have to be something for somebody. But the question was playing live or recording. I'd like both. What about you?
I think still overall I prefer playing live. Because
There's no rules.
yeah, there isn't really any rules, and like even with like recording, like you can still have fun with it, but it's a lot more pressure. Like you have to like make sure you don't mess up like any note, any like fill, whatever, because you want to have the take. You want to sound good for all your listeners like that haven't heard you before. You don't want to be messing up on the record.
You don't want to be
make it
sloppy.
sound shit. Yeah.
Get David out.
But it's good though. It's a good push to make us. It's a good push for us as musicians. Trying to get the right track. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just have that energy and that feeling of what is happening that day. That is the key.
Yeah.
Right there.
And then I feel like also if we play a bunch of shows together, the more shows we play, like you're going to have those mess ups during shows because you're going to feel the pressure of the audience. You're going to feel like people watching you. It's not like you're just in a room with yourselves. And so naturally you're going to get tighter as a band. And with rehearsing and playing shows, you're going to get tighter as a band. So the more you do that, like the tighter we're going to get and more fun it's going to be in the studio and quicker it's going to be and more efficient, all of that. So I feel like just shows are more fun and like a lot more helpful than just being in the studio and just playing a song over and over until you feel like you got it right. So I just prefer shows in many ways.
So overall, were you guys happy with Brainwashed, or do you think it could have been better?
No, it was good for where we were at that time, But for the next things that we do, we already know ourselves as a band. For the most part, we know ourselves like, okay, we have visions for songs that need to be fucking powerful, like just come through the speakers right at you and biting you in the fucking ear like Mike Tyson.
that's sort of that's sort of what at least that's how I feel about our the next single we're releasing, which is Tool. It should be out, I think.
We have two singles coming out, Tool and Open Your Eyes, that should be coming out soon, within a week from today. It will be released on Wednesday. That's our thing. We like to release and just do anything promotion-wise.
But we are going to play it on the radio show on Monday.
Yes,
so,
of course.
So we're going to play it 2 days before it actually comes out.
Yeah.
So you can
You
hear
guys
the
get
debut
the-
on KQBH on
Only
Monday.
here.
Yeah, only here.
Exclusive.
There you go.
Let's go back to the beginning of the band. What year did you guys form?
Like November 2019 was the first rehearsal.
First rehearsal. So the album came out 2 years later. What did you guys do from November 2019 to making the first album?
Well, the whole COVID thing happened, So for 4 straight months, we were all separated from each other. We had got together for 5 months, and then COVID happened, and the train stopped. We were like, oh, shit. So we were all separated for 4 months. I personally was writing songs just on fucking GarageBand and shit, just to keep doing something. And maybe like 5 of our songs, something like that, were made apart, separate, you know. And then finally, when we got to get back together, we were just so excited and pumped to like be in the same room after 4 months. And 4 months is a long time to be separated from people you've been seeing a lot, often, to create stuff, you know. So, yeah, what was the question?
What were we doing in between?
Oh, okay.
Did you guys start rehearsing on Zoom, or did you guys kind of?
We tried rehearsing on Instagram video chat once.
Did we?
I think we just talked
Or
about
we just
stuff.
got on together and
We're just trying to still engage with each other, you know?
Yeah.
So
But it was hard to do the Zoom thing.
yeah, there's always distractions. Like technically, you're on the phone with them, but it's like
You can't get in time on the internet. either.
Yeah.
There's all latency and all that shit.
Yeah. So I mean, so what about the Space City Vintage? You guys, of course, been. I got a chance to see you guys play.
Yeah.
When did you guys start playing there?
I think that was our first show. Our first show or two. I think both of our first shows we've played there, and we just keep going back.
When was your first show?
Probably
still 2019, probably like
It-
2 months after we've initially got together. It was a
Yeah.
bunch of covers, and it
Okay.
sounded like shit now.
Yeah.
But you know everything.
Right before COVID, then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right
Wow.
before. And then Space City's our home. We, it's pretty close to
Yeah.
us. It's a
I think-
pretty cool venue.
I think it's the home to a lot of young, like just
all
rock
the
and
all the
roll
bands in our
Yeah.
scene now. We got to build a little scene with us. With Apocalypsis, a Red Sun, Spunk. Our friend Sam and the Sirens. We'd helped her out, and now we're all getting to play shows together, and it's really, really cool. Space City is like the perfect atmosphere. There is no AC in Space City. Zach, get some AC, please.
Or no
But-
elevator and like fucking like
Oh, you gotta go up. The
No
stairs.
elevator.
yeah,
You got to
sure.
go up the
Yeah,
stairs,
sure.
bring all your stuff in there. But that's what makes it what it is. It's a hot, sweaty room, and people who are there to fucking have fun. So, Space City is our home.
Let's talk a little about influences. How did you guys get your sound for this band? As a band, how did you guys kind of figure out what you wanted to do?
I don't think we did. It's just like it's a blend of we all have very different music tastes, and I think Wenzdaze is just kind of what came out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we all, like you said, we all have different music tastes, and it evolves, over time. Initially, we were just so happy to be in a band. Like, we were, I was 16, you guys were 14,
Yeah.
And it's just that young energy of like, yeah, I got something. And yeah, so, I mean, influences.
What music taste do you guys have? Like, what bands can you throw out there? Or
For me, Idols. Idols I've been listening to a lot for years. But a lot of early British punk, like obviously the Pistols, Stiff Little Fingers, the Buzzcocks, stuff like that, stuff around them. And then some newer post-punk stuff too.
Yeah, and then for me, my all-time favorite band is Rage Against the Machine, but like my drum influences alter. I mean, my main one that I come back to always is John Bonham. I feel like he's still the greatest of all time. But yeah, Rage Against the Machine, Led Zeppelin. I like Royal Blood, Idols. I enjoy Idols too. My music taste is honestly all over the place, and so I kind of just put whatever type of music into that. And then Ruben.
Well, I like a bunch of cheesy shit. So I like radio. I like pop stuff, like, all the bands that everybody knows, like fucking Nirvana, White Stripes, Cage the Elephant, Queens of the Stone Age, stuff like that. And I also am a sucker for like 60s and 50s pop songs. So I like a lot of melodic, catchy things. But I like everything. My dad got me into reggae and rocksteady and stuff like that recently, like within the past 2 years. He he's a major influence in what I listen to because he gets the vinyls and we have our, sort of the same setup here with the turntables. And, he plays music almost every day, sometimes 45s, LPs, all that. But I like a bunch of things, fucking Johnny Cash, a bunch of rockabilly stuff. And yeah, going back to the whole what did we try to sound for or something like that. There is no trying. We were just like, okay, we all know these songs. Initially, when we were covering stuff, we were like, we all know these songs. Let's just play it because we know it. And we all have a different attitude to it. You know, Hayden's more about like punk and lead, playing bass as a lead instrument. You know, and that helps everyone out, and that's what creates Wenzdaze. We're not a genre. It is what it is.
All right, cool. So if we could go through each member, talk about why you picked up your instrument and why you got into music. You want to start off with you, Hayden?
I play bass because Peter Hook from Joy Division. Like I started listening to Joy Division, and all you can remember of a Joy Division song is the bass. You know, it's not like insanely difficult, but it's the best riffs. It stays in your head and you can't forget it. And I mean, I wanted to do something like that with my instrument, but I didn't want to just be I didn't want to be generic and just play guitar.
How I started music is a process. I've always liked drums since I was younger. I know when I told my dad I wanted to play drums, he said, okay, sure, but you have to play a melodic instrument first. So I took piano lessons, I took guitar lessons. My dad's a professional bass player, but bass didn't really ever catch my eye too much. But I always wanted to play drums. Like, it was always like my gut, is always what I wanted to do. And so eventually I did start taking drum lessons, and I started doing all this stuff with drums, and like, you could tell it's just the main thing I have my talent for, and like what I want to do in terms of like all of music and all that stuff.
My family on my mom's side is very, I guess, musically talented. Like, you know, my uncles played in a trio, you know, playing that type of flamenco-ish guitar. So that's always been around. Family functions, you know, they would sing with my aunt, and so I saw that first, and then growing up and stuff, I got into some sort of music, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to play guitar, because there was always a guitar in the room. I tried to play guitar, and my uncle taught me I forgot it now, but taught me that. My dad was like, okay, if you can learn one song, I'll get you some lessons, you know. So I learned like one song on one finger, just like he was like, all right, cool, you know, you learned it. And I kept playing it over time, and then I kept bugging him like, I want lessons. So he had a friend who had a friend that played guitar, and it was actually here in Boyle Heights. I think it was here, that building with the two dragons, right in the front of it. It's like stained glass and stuff like that. Anyway, I had lessons there, and it was just simple open chords, and then it was on and off for 2 years, and after that YouTube University, man. Fucking YouTube. And yeah, you know, just growing up with that around me, it's been there, you know. So yeah.
That's cool. And what plans are for the band? You guys, of course, got a couple singles coming out, but what do you guys coming up that listeners should know about?
Well, we're gonna be obviously a lot of shows in the LA area. We have Ventura Nationals September 3rd with the Stomping Riffraffs from Japan. Sound of the Streets 3 show August 20th, but we have some releases too coming next week.
Yeah, we played a lot live in backyards and you know, just shows anywhere. And after coming back from the tour, we already have things lined up for Japan at the end of this year, and also Europe again pretty soon. And hopefully we'd love to take some bands along with us, you know, our hometown bands, maybe Apocalypsis and, you know, Spunk, people like them. So traveling a lot and promoting our stuff and just bringing our game up a little bit, you know, by getting out there and actually doing it, you know, and writing stuff, you know, everything.
Yeah.
And when do you think the next album's going to come out?
No idea.
There's no rush. There's no time. I mean,
there's many ways to write a song, but sitting down and writing them isn't one of them. So we don't want to just like go into like, okay, now we have to write a second album. We're just gonna like, once we have 12 songs that we like.
But we're always together. So
Yeah.
you know, songs come up all the time, and we'll be recording soon. You know. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the last question here: any advice for young musicians out there, or your peers out there that are listening to this interview? Any advice for them as a musician to another musician?
Just do it.
Yeah. Just go out there and do it. That's the hardest thing is starting. And,
Yeah. Just make friends. I think that's the most important thing is make friends, talk to, don't be shy. That's kind of stupid to tell you don't be shy because everybody will be shy in the beginning. Oh, I don't know, how to play or I don't know who to talk to and stuff. If you're in school, go to your music class, try to make some friends there and you'll eventually find people. That's how we found our scene, our community, with Wendy who's taking video and photos here. She found us through Instagram, from our like third or fourth show ever. And we just been open like, oh yeah, hey, you take photos, cool, like come along. And same with bands, same with friends who come to shows, and just talk to everybody and do what you want to do.
I want to thank you guys for coming to the studio today. It was a pleasure having you guys today. Thanks a lot to Reb for having you guys come in, and thanks a lot, guys.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cool.
It's the Mike Nelson Show here.
Yeah.